Part 120. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dowby in the World. Chapter 1191. Chapter 1191, Cheating Son 4. It's so troublesome to make an appointment to see him. The little guy frowned and looked at the two beautiful receptionists in front of him with some distress. His expression changed and he was ready to stage an annual drama. Sisters, please help me, I really have something to do with him, he and I are friends, so you can help make a phone call and tell him that little Mickey is here to see him, okay? But the receptionist hesitated, looking at the sculpted little baby in front of them. They were also overflowing with motherly love. But if such a kid comes to see the chairman, if he really calls and asks, he might even be scolded by his superiors. If this kind of excuse comes every day and they go up to ask every time and fail to block it, their wages will be deducted. There were so many people who wanted to find opportunities to meet the chairman like this before. Sometimes there were many people in a day, but they all refused. The little guy had an ugly expression and was about to perform a show. The chairman of the emigrant group has always been in trouble but has given up on his own son and has no conscience. When he saw an acquaintance, Uncle John, little Mickey shouted at the top of his lungs and ran quickly to Zhang Tianrui, who was entering the elevator. Secretary Zhang didn't realize that he was being called at first, but then he saw little Mickey and immediately walked out of the elevator, shouting in surprise. Little Mickey. Their little boss of Dahao? The son of the big boss. The two front desk ladies also caught up. When they saw Secretary Zhang next to the chairman walking out of the elevator and calling out the little milk baby's name, they realized that this little guy really knew the big boss. Walking to Secretary Zhang's side, little Mickey hugged Secretary Zhang's thigh and raised his eyebrows at the two front desk ladies. See, I really know you're chairman, and I'm not trying to trick you. The two front desk ladies were surprised when they saw the look in little Mickey's eyes. This little guy's eyes had so many meanings. Is this really a little baby over 2 years old? After the two front desk ladies left, Secretary Zhang took little Mickey's paw into the exclusive elevator and walked to the top floor. Little Mickey, are you here to see the boss? Little Mickey nodded his little head. Are you alone? Your wife didn't come. Who is the wife? It's your mommy. When did my mommy call me MRS? After your mommy marries Mr. Tang, she will become MRS Tang, which is just a title, Secretary Zhang explained patiently. Oh. Then you better not call me MRS mommy, because my mommy will not marry a bad uncle, little Mickey said seriously, looking at Secretary Zhang with an accusatory look in his eyes, so don't make any mistakes. Secretary Zhang's expression is also very interesting. He doesn't know whether to show a gloating expression or a sympathetic and sad expression. Anyway, he just doesn't know what expression to make when facing the boss's son. Secretary Zhang led little Mickey to the door of the chairman's office and knocked on the door. Come in, Tang Yu's voice came out. Secretary Zhang pushed the door open and went in. Mr. Tang, little Master Mickey is here. Little Mickey? Tang Yuj put down the pen in his hand, raised his head and looked out, and saw little Mickey being held by Secretary Zhang, looking at him with big, smart eyes. His face, which was still somewhat serious because he was reading documents, instantly became gentle, and he waved to little Mickey with a smile on his face. Little Mickey, come over to Daddy. At the same time, he looked behind Secretary Zhang and little Mickey, looking for that familiar figure. Went to watch a drama. There will be updates soon. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dowby in the World. Chapter 1192. Chapter 1192, Cheating Son 5. I don't want to go there. Just let me go, that's not cool at all. Little Mickey let go of Secretary Zhang's hand, and without shame, he walked to the sofa next to Tang Yuj, climbed up and sat down like a good baby. You go out first and get some snacks that children like to eat. Okay, Mr. Tang's secretary Zhang nodded and left to buy food for the young master. Tanyuj was very happy that his son came to see him. He threw away the pen and came over to sit next to him. Little Mickey, Daddy is so happy to come see him, come and let me kiss him. Tanyuj picked up his son's little body and pouted. Little Mickey looked disgusted and stretched out his little paw to block it. Don't kiss me. And you're not my daddy, so don't take advantage of me. You are my ancienous child. The evidence that I have become your father is now conclusive, so I can't help but admit it. Call me daddy quickly, otherwise don't blame me for abusing children. Tanyuj deliberately showed a fierce look. With a small expression, she hugged her son and made sure he called her daddy. The explosive bag on little Mickey was instantly ignited, and with a bang, the demonic factor also exploded. Uncle Badass, I asked my mommy yesterday, you are not my daddy and I was not born to you. If you want to take advantage of me again, I am here to make it clear today. The first step to destroy the bad guy's daddy and mommy is to deny that he is their son. How is it possible? You are my son. Tanyuj smiled and shook his head, not believing what he said. No matter how many days he counts, he is still his son. No, 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 the little guy's head shook like a rattle. My mommy said, I'm not your son, and she's not your woman. She said you're being sentimental. The little guy lied without blushing and out of breath. His expression was so serious that even Tanyuj seemed to be deceived by him. Tanyuj nodded slowly, with a cunning look in his eyes. And she said she's not my woman. Yes, no, seeing that he had succeeded in sowing discord, the little guy nodded quickly. Did the opportunity succeed so quickly? Marvelous. Then I will take you to your mommy and ask you in person in front of her. If I find out that you are lying and prove that you are my son, your little will suffer. Tanyuj chuckled and reached out to pat you. Patted little Mickey's butt. As the saying goes, the devil is as high as the Taoist. How could Tanyuj believe what the little guy said? He and Qianyuman had just expressed their sincerity to each other. How could he believe what a little guy said? So he suspected that this little guy was lying. As for the reason for lying, it was obvious that this little guy had bad intentions, so it would be better to catch him directly in front of Qianyuman. What? Little Mickey jumped up all of a sudden. Having failed to sow discord, do you still have to sacrifice his butt? No. Never. Little Mickey immediately jumped down from the sofa and prepared to run for his life. Even if his bad daddy caught him and confronted his mommy, he would deny it and accuse him of wrongly accusing him. It's a pity that little Mickey was grabbed by Tanyuj's collar and carried in mid-air as soon as he jumped down from the sofa mountain. You kid, if you dare to play tricks on me, you will die. Tanyuj was in a happy mood, thinking that the little guy in his hands was the crystallization of their love, and all the interactions with his son were novel and enjoyable for him. Xiao Manman, it's rare for a son to slander his own mother like this. Sugar baby, you cheating little ancestor, if you don't educate him properly, you won't even know who he is. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1193. Chapter 1193. Leia arrives. 1. No, little Mickey screamed miserably, as pitifully as a slaughtered pig. It's a pity that Tanyuj was just trying to find an excuse to find Qianyuman, so he could just go to the embassy and find Qianyuman. I immediately left the work at hand and went out. No matter how much the little one in my arms protested, he could not escape the clutches of the devil. Whoa, they are all bad guys, they are all bad guys. If mommy knew that he was lying and that he was a lying child, mommy would definitely dislike little Mickey. Whoa, no. The bad guy uncle is the bad guy uncle, everything he does is so annoying. Just know how to bully Mickey. Then the ladies at the front desk in the hotel lobby downstairs saw their extremely handsome chairman leaving the house with the beautiful little baby in his arms. The harmonious picture of the two people and their adorable dialogue fascinated countless passers-by. It's so cute and the picture is so beautiful. In fact, their conversation was: call daddy. Reject. That dad. Ugly rejection. Daddy can do it too. Why are you so stinky and shameless? Why are you talking to me? I'm asking for a beating. A fist hit the little guy on the head. The little guy held his head and began to cry, shouting at the top of his lungs that he was abusing children and that he had no conscience. Child abduction. Child abuse. Unfortunately, no matter how he screamed, he would get the same screams as the ladies at the front desk. Because their interaction is so cute and interesting, a harmonious scene of the father and son playing around. Coupled with Tanyuj's noble aura and monster appearance, he doesn't look like a human trafficker at all. The two of them did not go to Jianyuman immediately because Tanyuj wanted to buy some snacks that Jianyuman loved. When they were paying at the cake shop in the shopping mall, little Mickey, who had been quietly beside him, suddenly ran away happily. He doesn't want to be caught and confronted by mommy for lying. Bad daddy. Where's the godfather? Where's the godfather? Where are the people? Little Mickey quickly took out his mobile phone and made a call while looking around for a nearby godfather. The little guy ran so fast that he didn't even notice the figure that suddenly appeared in front of him, and bumped into the man's leg. Little Mickey, who was knocked to the ground, rolled roundly on the ground holding his head. Kid, are you okay? A cold voice came from the top of the little guy's head. Little Mickey heard a familiar yet unfamiliar voice, raised his head, and saw a familiar face, but the expression on this face was a bit unfamiliar. Mommy. Little Mickey showed a faint smile, quickly got up from the ground, flew over and hugged the other person's thigh. The woman who was suddenly hugged by little Mickey had the same face as Jianyuman, but with an added sense of distance and a cold expression without any emotion. A pair of sharp eyes that make people dare not get close. Her waist-length straight black hair is tied into a ponytail. She is wearing casual sportswear and has a heroic spirit that Jianyuman does not have. This person is not Jianyuman herself, but her sister Chi Lilii, the twin sister Jianyuman has not seen in nearly 3 years. Chi Lilii frowned slightly, a little depressed because the little guy was holding her thigh and calling her mommy. She was about to talk properly when she lowered her head to see clearly what little Mickey looked like. Her pupils were obviously dilated. Why does this kid look 60–70% similar to her? Leia finally appears again, after an absence of more than 500 pictures. Or 600. The love triangle between Leia, Fei Shen and Luojuo Gui is about to begin. Who do you want Leia to marry? End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1194. Chapter 1194 Leia arrives too. Chi Lilii looked at the little baby holding her thigh and calling mommy in shock, her eyes almost bulging out of her head, because this little face was very similar to hers, and people who didn't know better thought it was her illegitimate son. As to whether she had illegitimately given birth to a son, she knew better than anyone else. Little Mickey hugged Chi Lilii and called her mommy affectionately, still complaining. Mommy. Let me tell you, that bad guy uncle was hooking up with women outside, and I saw him, and he threatened me not to tell you. The little guy blurted out some provocative words he learned from watching the 8 o'clock show on the internet. He studied these words all night last night, checked a lot of information, and learned them on the fly. Little Mickey glanced in the direction of Tanyuj with guilty eyes to make sure that he hadn't chased him yet. Huh, what is this kid saying? Child, did you recognize the wrong person? Wrong person? Little Mickey heard his mother's voice sound strange, so emotionless and cold. Little Mickey raised his head and looked at Chi-Lyle carefully again, his eyes instantly brightened. "Mommy, you are so cool when you look so cold, you are as cool as me." Little Mickey didn't know that he had the wrong person, and mistook Chi-Lyle for Chien-Yuman. "Child, you have recognized the wrong person. I am not your mommy," Chi-Lyle said impatiently. "Children are troublesome. When walking in the mall, they will be hugged by children and recognize their mommy." "Mommy, how can you say that?" Little Mickey recognized his face by mistake. Could it be that this genius child recognized his mommy's face by mistake? A joke? Are you kidding? Little Mickey felt narcissistic in his heart, but he didn't know that he had really recognized the wrong person. "Little Mickey," Chi-Lyle raised her brows slightly, knelt down, and looked at him levelly, her eyes much gentler. "So you are Little Mickey?" "What do you mean, I am Little Mickey?" Little Mickey looked dissatisfied. Chi-Lyle reached out and touched Little Mickey's head, finally understanding why he recognized the wrong person. Emotions. This little guy thought he saw his sister, so he hugged her and called her mommy. As Chien-Yuman's twin sister, Chi-Lyle is exactly the same except for her different temperament. No wonder Little Mickey didn't recognize her. "Mommy, you are so cool today." Little Mickey's eyes were shining, he held her face and kissed her heavily on the face. At this moment, Little Mickey especially likes the way mommy looks today. The previous mommy was sometimes very intelligent and would often do some crazy and funny things, but today's mommy is completely different. She looks so cool and cold. Just like him. Tanyuj chased her from a distance and saw Little Mickey holding the young woman in his arms and calling her mommy. Could it be that Chiener is here? Tanyuj had been happy for less than a second when he saw the young woman raising her head with an indifferent expression and touching Chi-Lily's face gently. With just one glance, he recognized that this young woman was not his beloved woman, but the twin sister of his beloved woman. "Lily," Tanyuj shouted in surprise. Chi-Lily didn't know where she was going in the past few years. She had been abroad since she broke up with her brother Tang Feishan and had never returned to China. He didn't expect to meet her on the street today. When Chi-Lily heard the shouting, she raised her head and looked over. When she saw Tanyuj, she opened her mouth in surprise. "Brother-in-law?" "No, it's Tanyuj, Fei Chen's brother. He." End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1195. Chapter 1195. Leia arrives 3. She lowered her head and looked at Little Mickey lying in her arms, and immediately understood what was going on. "I haven't contacted my sister for a long time. I didn't expect that my sister and Tanyuj would end up together." Knowing this, Chi-Lily's guilt over the years has faded a little. It seems that people who are destined to go together will stay together no matter how they go. She has been hiding from her sister and the others for so many years, but in the end, her sister and the others are still together. "Mommy, let's go, I don't want to see this bad guy." Before Little Mickey realized that the young woman in front of him was not his biological mother at all, but his aunt, he pulled Chi-Lyle and started to complain. Chi-Lily looked at Tanyuj with a blank look on her face. Looking at Tanyuj's expression, she didn't realize that some misunderstandings were developing out of control. "Little Mickey, you shouted wrong. I am." "Lily, where did you go?" "I was waiting for you at the door of the toilet for a long time, but I didn't wait for you. Then I ran into the toilet to look for you. Do you know how embarrassing it was just now? This is wrong. Yeah, the first time I entered the women's restroom, I was worried that you would fall into the toilet or that your legs would be too weak to get up after you pooped. I was almost beaten like a pervert. Fortunately, I reacted quickly, otherwise I would have been caught and treated like a pervert at the police station." "Come on." A tall man of 1.9 meters walked out from behind Tanyuj and walked quickly towards Chi-Lily. After not seeing each other for many years, he was still so long-winded, saying a bunch of things in one go without letting Chi Lili interrupt. I'm so annoyed, Chi Lili gave Mirongye a look of disgust. She was so annoyed by him just now that he used his urine shield to escape. Hey! Who is this little cutie? Mirongye saw little Mickey for the first time and saw Chi Lil hugging her intimately. She didn't know that he was the son of Qian Yuman and Tang Yuj. Xiao, Tang Yuj's voice sounded from behind him. Mirong turned around with a puzzled look. Who called me? Hey! Isn't this Yuj? Why are you here in the imperial capital? Wow, I haven't seen you for a long time. Why are you here? By the way, you told me before that you came to the imperial capital to do things and chase your wife. Yes, how is it? Did you succeed in chasing? Judging from your expression, you didn't succeed. As a brother, I really. Tang Yuj's face turned dark, and he reached out to cover his friend's mouth. Mirongye struggled, but was attacked by his friend's fist. The two handsome guys started fighting, and they didn't notice the conversation between Chi Lil and the others. It was also the first time for Chi Lili to see little Mickey in her arms. She had already taken several steps away with little Mickey in her arms. Little Mickey, you called me wrong. I am your Aunt Lili. Has your mother ever told you about me? Aunt Lili. Little Mickey was stunned for a moment, and then he remembered that Mommy had once told him that Mommy had a sister exactly like her, named Chi Lili. Could it be that she was the person in front of her? Yes, you little guy must have recognized the wrong person. Little Mickey nodded quickly, stretched out his little paw, and touched Chi Lili's face seriously. Aunt Lili, you really look like my mommy. I almost recognized the wrong person just now, and your expression is so cool. Little Mickey likes this cool aunt. Little Mickey immediately became familiar with her, no longer aloof. She hugged Chi Lil's face and kissed her hard several times. Little Mickey is very cute, and Auntie likes you too. Chi Lili's affection for this little nephew, whom she met for the first time and who didn't like children, greatly increased. I'm going to catch up on the drama. There will be updates soon, but don't wait any longer. I don't know when I will catch up because of my procrastination. I am hopeless. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1196. Chapter 1196. The misunderstanding is huge one. Aunt Lili, I know there is a particularly delicious snack here. I will take you to eat it. Little Mickey's little mouth became sweet when he saw someone who looked exactly like his mommy. Such a cool aunt must behave well. Little Mickey, do you want to invite Auntie? That's natural. Little Mickey patted his chest and took out a few euros with a proud expression on his face, intending to use the euros in his hand to buy food for Chi Lili. Chi Lili's expression became much gentler, and she stretched out her hand to gently touch little Mickey's head. You can't use euros here, you have to use red Mao Zedong. Chi Lili took out a few red bills from her wallet and waved them in front of little Mickey. Today, Auntie will buy you something delicious, drinkable, and fun as a meeting gift. Long live little Mickey cheered happily, holding Chi Lil's arm and acting coquettishly, pointing in the direction of the dessert shop he was going to. Let me say hello to your dad. Chi Lil picked up little Mickey and walked towards Mirongye and Tang Yuj, who were still fighting. Chi Lili hugged little Mickey and looked at the two big guys fighting in front of her with an indifferent expression. I took little Mickey away. Chi Lili turned around and left after saying this. Regardless of whether Tang Yuj wanted to or not, she was going to abduct Tang Yuj's son today anyway. Oh, Tang Yuj raised his eyebrows slightly and responded slowly. Lili. Wait for me. Mirongye saw Master Lei leaving and immediately pushed Tang Yuj away to chase after him. Tang Yuj immediately reached out and grabbed Mirongye's collar to stop him from leaving. Xiao, don't leave in a hurry, let me ask you a question. Tang Yuj grabbed Mirongye and refused to let this noisy guy go. Although he wanted to slap him away just now, he now had important questions to ask. What are you doing? My women have all run away. I have to chase her. If I don't catch her, she will slip away. The big man Mirongye wanted to run away, but looked at her farther and farther away with an anxious look on his face. Lili is almost gone, and he still has to go over and stick to her. At this moment, Tang Yuz's heart was shaking, and he was shocked by the news he had just learned. How so? From a distance, he heard little Mickey enthusiastically hugging Qilil's neck and calling her mommy. Shouldn't she be called aunt? Why mommy? Speaking of which, little Mickey not only looks like Qianyuman, but also looks like Qilil. Just now I heard little Mickey calling Qilili's mommy. Is it possible that Qilil is little Mickey's mommy? If so, everything seems to make sense. Little Mickey said that his aunt brought him here to Daidu. The aunt he mentioned was not Chao Xiaofeng, but his own aunt Qianyuman. Have you never seen your father? Could it be that he was not talking about Tang Yuj, but his younger brother Tang Feishan? When Kailai left that year, was she already pregnant with Feishan's son? Or was it his brother Mirongye who gave birth to her secretly? Thinking that the little guy sometimes has a cold expression and his personality is indeed more like Qilili's than Qianyuman's, he asked how come Qianyuman's funny personality could have such a temperament as little Mickey's? Has he always misunderstood feelings? At this moment, Tang Yuj had a huge misunderstanding. He had no idea that Mickey had mistakenly recognized the wrong person. It was only because he and Mirongye did not hear the conversation between them when they were fighting. Tang Yuj frowned, and the corners of his mouth raised a twisted arc. The child in Lili's arms, can't be your child. Your Majesty, Marshal Bai, sugar baby, sometimes you are human. If you have too many thoughts and too many twists and turns in your mind, you will get yourself involved. Look. Think too much. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1197. Chapter 1197. The misunderstanding is huge too. Mirongye was anxious to run away, and rolled his eyes at Tang Yuj in frustration. What about my son? You don't think he was born to me and Lili, do you? There's a big misunderstanding. The baby's surname is Tang, not Mirong. No, don't leave in a hurry. Tang Yuj wanted to ask Mirongye for clarification, but to his surprise, he was rejected by Mirongye. There is no hurry to leave. Lili, will leave. We have been friends for many years, there is nothing to reminisce about. You have lost so many years, why are you still dying like this? Chasing after Lili every day. Before Tang Yuj could finish speaking, Mirongye ran after Qilili. Tang Yuj was furious for a while, and kept talking about Mirongye seeing and forgetting his friends. Xiao is so awesome, I have to give it a good try next time we meet. I didn't expect that I have been in contact with Lili for so many years, and this time I even appeared on the street. I'm really good at keeping it secret. But this child's surname is Tang. Is he really his younger brother's child? This is fun. It seems that things have become very complicated. I must call my brother immediately and tell him that he is a father. Tang Yuj did what he said and called his brother immediately. Fei Chen, where are you? Come to the imperial capital immediately. I saw your Lei. Lili. Have you seen her? Tang Fei's gentle voice obviously became a little higher, and his mood was unstable. Haven't heard this name for many years, but it still caused ripples in his seemingly stable heart. Come to the imperial capital immediately. So what, have you forgotten that she and I have broken up for 3 years? Speaking of this matter, Tang Feishan's mood became obviously much lower. So what if we break up? Your sister-in-law and I are not divorced yet, we got back together recently, At this moment, Tanyuj really wanted to fly to the magic city immediately and capture his brother in the imperial capital. Brother, forget it, you also know that I am getting married soon. Speaking of this matter, Tanyuj twisted his lips and smiled in disgust. Why are you getting married? You don't love that woman. Come to the imperial capital as soon as possible and chase your wife and children back. You don't know that boy Xiao has been pestering Lele. Brother, what are you talking about? Tang Feishan could understand what his elder brother was saying at first, but why did he not understand it at the end of the sentence? By the way, I forgot to tell you the important point. Tanyuj chuckled. Do you know what I saw? There is a child of about 2 or 3 years old who looks very similar to Lilei. His name is Lilei's mommy. And he is with that kid Xiao. I also got confirmation from Xiao that the surname is Tang. Tang Feishan on the other end of the phone was dumbfounded. His mood that he had been trying to calm down suddenly turned into a storm. So, you said that child is mine? Yes. Lily, I must have left you while pregnant with your child. Do you still want a wife and child? If you want to come to the imperial capital immediately, Chiener and I will find a way to match you up. I'll buy a plane ticket right away. Tang Feishan immediately hung up the phone, took his wallet and documents, and ran to the airport. This phone call made Tang Feishan's heart calm for many years, and he became no longer calm. The news he got from his eldest brother's surgery gave him no reason to rush over. At the same time, he was also impressed by the photos taken by Tanyuj and saw the photos of his son little Mickey. The serious and cold expression is simply a replica of Chi Lilei, with very similar appearance and temperament. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1198. Chapter 1198. The misunderstanding is huge. 3. Is this, really his son? He really looks like Lilei. The more I look at him, the more I feel that his eyebrows are somewhat similar to his, and his eyes are also somewhat similar. Tang Feishan looked at the photo of little Mickey, and the more he looked at it, the more he felt that it was a combination of him and Lilei. It is a coincidence that Jian Yuman and Chi Lilei are twins who look alike. Tanyuj and Tang Feishan are brothers, and they are 50 or 60% similar. They both look like Tang's mother, so the similarities between little Mickey and Tanyuj can happen to be placed on him. So Tang Feishan felt more and more that Chi Lilei took the child away in anger because of Tang's father's disapproval. Lilei. Why so stupid? Why take the kids with you? Why did you sacrifice yourself so much in the first place? You clearly knew that I could give up my family inheritance rights for you and elope with you to the end of the world, but you silently chose to leave me. Why are you so stupid? This time, no matter what, I will not let you go. Tanyuj also didn't expect that one of his misunderstandings would cause the two men and women who had no chance to have an entangled love for each other. As for whether the two can finally overcome the demons in their hearts and be together again, that is another matter. A big problem. At this moment, Murongye was entangled with Chilil again and talked to Chilil affectionately. Lilei, this child is so cute. When will we have one? Murongye was so shameless that he snatched little Mickey away from Chililei. Kid, what's your name? You can call me Uncle Murong. I'm your father's good brother. Call me Uncle Murong. I'll buy you a lot of delicious food later. Or do you want to play with toys? Why don't you talk? Don't you understand what I say? Lilei. I remember you said that your sister has been in Paris. How can this little guy understand you? Pity. Pity. I don't speak French, can I speak English? Brat. As soon as Murongye opened his mouth turned on the machine gun mode. Little Mickey had silently reached out his hands and covered his ears. He looked at Murongye with a look of disgust and turned his eyes to Chililei for help. Give me the child. Chi Lili I pushed Murongya away with disgust and snatched the child back. Auntie, this person is so annoying, his mouth keeps firing like a machine gun, he is so noisy, can we leave? Little Mickey was saved and immediately hugged Chi Lili's neck and asked for help. You said I was noisy, you little guy, do you know what noisy is? I've already calmed down. Murongya was like a child, quarreling with little Mickey, and starting with a bunch of criticism in little Mickey's ear, thinking about it. Ah, Auntie, why are you looking for such a boyfriend? Why, I want to go back to see mommy, mommy, little Mickey shouted in various ways. Two men with huge differences in body shape and height started chatting in front of Chi Lili. Unexpectedly, the expression on Chi Lili's face became much gentler. Over the years, she has become accustomed to Murongya's annoyance, but this time the fire was directed towards little Mickey. It had a different kind of fun. In the end, Murongya was driven away amidst little Mickey's noise. She carried little Mickey to find her sister, whom she hadn't seen in 3 years. After so many years, it's time for her to find her sister. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1199. Chapter 1199. The misunderstanding is huge. For after hiding from my sister for so many years, I met little Mickey unexpectedly this time and knew that it would not be a problem for me to continue hiding. Especially knowing that it was partly selfishness on her part that caused her sister to separate from Tangyuj. She could have explained it later, but she still didn't do it. Because of guilt, she has not met her sister for so many years. Now that she knows that they have reconciled, what happened back then must have been settled, and she should officially meet her sister. After driving away Murongya, little Mickey took his aunt directly back to the hotel where they were staying. At the same time, he called Jianyuman. Little Mickey was now in his hands. When she learned that her sister had arrived in the imperial capital and was still with her son, she immediately asked for leave and rushed back. When I opened the door and went in, I saw my sister and son playing together. I saw my sister's obviously lively and cheerful personality, and my eyes became warm. My sister has not changed, but she is a little more heroic, her skin is a little yellower, and she looks very energetic. Sister Jianyuman screamed and flew towards her. Hearing Jianyuman's call, Chi Lili raised her head and looked over. When she saw her sister rushing over excitedly, her cold expression became much gentler and her eyes were slightly red. Sister, long time no see. Chi Lili and Jianyuman hugged each other passionately. The two sisters have been close friends since childhood. In the past 20 years, they have been separated for more than 8 years. It was 5 years last time and 3 years this time. After parting, the two of them talked to each other a lot, mostly about each other's living conditions. Chi Lili knew everything about Jianyuman's recent situation in the past few years, but she couldn't help but ask her sister about her recent reunion with Tangyuj. Sister, when did you get back together with your brother-in-law? Just these few days. Congratulations, sister, it's not been easy for you these past few years. I'm sorry that I didn't help you, but... Chi Lili hesitated to speak. She didn't hear her sister talk about what happened back then. After much thought, she decided to apologize. Why are you talking about this? He and I are back together now, and I don't know what will happen in the future. I will still test him. When I feel that I can trust him for life, I will get back together with him again. Jianyuman patted her sister on the shoulder. I didn't find that my sister's mood was something wrong. She thought what happened that year. The sister felt guilty that she did not help herself that year, and later did not give her the saved from Wang Tianyua. But, sister, I was really sorry for you back then, I. What are you talking about? Let the past pass. I am not living a very good life now, but you are. How are you now? How are you doing? I am still like that. I have been to many places for travel and adventure in the past few years. What about your love life? This is the most gossipy thing Jian Yuman has about her sister. Love life. When Chi Lili I mentioned this, what flashed in her mind was Murong's mean face. In the past few years, her love life could be considered a blank, or it could be said that it was filled with the noisy Murong guy. In the past few years, no matter where she was, Murong always appeared by her side from time to time, breaking up her life. With the presence of Murong, a nagging ghost who grew more and more courageous with every setback and persisted in stalking her despite being rejected countless times, she could not be considered completely blank. Seeing her sister's thoughtful expression, Jian Yuman had a gossipy smile on her face. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1200. Chapter 1200 Mr. Tang snatches his son 1. Is there something fishy? Is there a new partner? Chi Lili shook her head quickly. I am still single. You can't, you haven't let go of Faishan yet. Jian Yuman's face looked helpless and distressed, and she reached out to touch her sister's face. It's been so long, you should choose to let it go. If you really can't let it go, let's be brave and go to the Tang family to face Shen back. Sister, what are you talking about? Chi Lili looked dumbfounded. Let me ask you if your heart is still sinking. Chi Lili looked at her sister's serious expression, and kept the words of denial on her lips without spitting it out. Forget it, you don't have to say anything, your expression says it all. As a sister, she couldn't tell. It's okay, sister will help you. Isn't she just Tang Wentao? I won't be afraid of him. Both of us sisters fell into the hands of their Tang brothers. The future father-in-law will have to face him in the future. This time we two sisters will defeat the big bad guy together. Jian Yuman's arrogant expression made Chi Lili's expression soften a lot. Chi Lili grabbed her sister's hand and sighed deeply. This breath contained her helplessness that could be expressed in 1,000 words. Sister, please stop focusing on me. I've heard before that Faishan will get married in a month, and I'm ready to accept Luozhuo's feelings. What? Get married? He. Jian Yuman's mouth opened wide in surprise. She looked at her sister's disappointed expression in disbelief and immediately reached out and patted her shoulder. Although Murong is a bit verbose, he is not bad. He has been by your side for so many years. And he is richer than Faishan anyway. He is also taller than him and has a better figure than Faishan. He is indeed richer than Faishan. A good match. At least if you marry into the Murong family, you won't have annoying parents-in-law. Kindness. If Murong knew that you were going to agree to date someone else, he would definitely be very happy. Yes, the faces of Tang Faishan and Murong quickly appeared in Chi Lili's mind, two very important people in her life. If she can't find someone she loves, it's better to find someone who loves her deeply. With Murong, at least she has never been upset or unhappy. Except for his being a bit nagging, he is indeed better than Tang Faishan, who has brought her countless sorrows and pains. Good. Besides, he is getting married soon, and will have a beautiful bride soon. The relationship between them has become a memory, and it is time to let it go and live his own life. The two sisters went to bed together that night. The cute little Mickey had to squeeze beside the two sisters. Turning his head to the left, he saw his cute mommy, and turning his head to the right, he saw his handsome aunt. They were so happy. When I got up the next morning, everything had changed. As soon as he went out in the morning, Tang Yuj suddenly rushed in, picked up little Mickey and ran away, gone. Hey! Tang Yuj, what are you doing? You're tired of living. This isn't the case for robbing your son, Jian Yuman roared, and when the words fell, Tang Yu's figure disappeared. Sister, what is brother-in-law doing? I don't know, are you having a brain twitch? Jian Yuman tilted her head and pointed at his head. Or maybe my brain is flooded. Otherwise, if you come early in the morning to your son, just tell him and give it to him. In the early morning, I robbed a bank and robbed my son. End of this chapter.